10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. I love you in the morning, I love you in the noon, I love you in the evening, and underneath the moon, oh, skidamarinky dinky dink. I'm Idiot Blog. Idiot Burns on Idiot Blog. Jeez, can't talk right today. See what happens in the chat. I'm sure I'll get my footing in a second here. Has it been away? Crazy! Where you were, where you could be found. The boys are back! The boys are back in town! Yeah! The boys are back! So today is an idiot chat. Let me get my little energy up. Let me get my energy up because we're going to be calling Timothy Lee Nixon here in just a short moment and getting him on the line. And we're going to talk about, let's see, well, I got some things planned to talk about. We could talk about things like, are aliens real? If they are real, are they here on Earth? What would you do if you lived forever? And what does God's farts smell like? Woo! The boys are back! The boys are back! The boys are back! Oh. Yeah, yeah! The boys are back in town! The boys are back. The boys are back in town! Town, the boys! Oh, yeah! Woo! I'm gonna crack a beer early because it's my beer. You guys remember that? You guys remember that joke on a road trip? You guys ever, the joke was, the guy goes, you guys ever spread peanut butter on your dick and have your dog lick it off? It's okay, because it's your dog. It's not cheating, because it's your dog. Boys are back in town! All right, guys. I got my beer open. Let me take a couple sips, and we'll go ahead and give Timothy a call here at the 8 o'clock hour on the West Coast. I imagine it's 10 o'clock over where he lives. The boys are back, yeah. Boys, oh yeah. I'm going to go ahead and double check that we're in simulcast before I go ahead and get on the chat vibe. And listen to this little solo thing going on here. Boo, 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 boo. Bow, bow. Looks like we're on Facebook, and looks like we are on YouTube as well. Go ahead and fool around with some of those YouTube settings real quick. Excuse me. Bam, 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 bam. No, the video's not made for kids. It's made for us, band labbers. Dino's Bar and Grill, where they get their thrills. There we go. And we are in full simulcast. Okay, here we go. This track is entitled. We're gonna go ahead and give Timothy a call. Take the music down just a notch so everything's easy to hear. I'm gonna go ahead and do the old ring-a-ling-ding-a-ling. Whoa, 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 it's ringing on over.
Hello.
Hello, Timothy. This is Chris.
What's up, man?
What's up, dude? It's been so long since we've talked on the phone.
So long.
A whole day.
I don't even know what you've been up to because it's been so long. Matter of fact, how's the family?
You know, doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. They are all back. They're all back in my arms. Well, not really, because
safe in the arms of love.
Yeah, they made it on the plane. Good thing no Boeing crashes this time. But
no flight restrictions added to their travels.
You know, it was crazy. You know what they said is they said that they packed the plane. They overpacked it, and they were offering buybacks. Hey, if you want to sit on this airport for 12 more hours, we'll give you $660 and the price of your ticket back.
So, did they do that?
No, because they didn't want to sit with a 3-year-old and a 8-year-old in an airport for 12 hours.
Fun times, yeah. Would you like a water? It's only $8.95.
Yeah. $660 later. It was
this coloring book, but it's $20.
It was basically a wash. Just trying to keep them entertained.
I love how traveling never gets price gouging going. Everybody's fair with their prices.
You know, she got me some popcorn at the airport. This stuff is called Nuts on Clark.
What?
Yeah, it's called that. It's called Nuts on Clark. And don't get me started on the name. But it's like 3 things. I
love it when things have bizarre names.
Yeah, it's like 3 things of popcorn, and they're stacked, and they're these little things like you might get like a bunch of those puffy, you get those puffy kind of balls of, puffy balls, Nuts on Clark. No, but you get those puffy balls of coconut shavings that have like drips on them, or they're basically like sugar and coconut, and they come in like
my mind's going 30 directions on these details. I really don't want to say any of the things that pop in my head.
Cuckoo for cocoa nuts, but like those plastic containers it comes in, it came in one of those, but when we took it and opened up the bag of those 3 containers, it had like this concave shape to it, so it's like really only half as much as it looks. Totally rip you off.
Yes.
They're like,
I love it when you get a bag of Doritos these days and you open it up and all those air comes out. You got like 4 chips in the bottom.
They're all none of them are a complete chip. Hey, I don't think I got an actual chip.
I'm glad their marketing team planned this.
You know what? It's to make it on. So you buy that on your way home, right? While you're like driving, an hour and a half, and then you get to the area where you can either stop at the store or you can go straight home, and you're like, shit, I got to stop at the store and actually buy a real bag of Doritos now. It's all a sales mechanism.
I had bought a bag the other day of Doritos, and it was one of the blue bags, and I got in the car. I don't know what I did, but I got carried away doing what I was doing. I forgot about it. The next day, or a couple days later, I get in the car, and I look over, and I'm like, ooh, Cool Ranch Doritos, awesome.
What's your favorite Dorito flavor?
Oh, actually, I I like simple, just like accent flavors with my sandwiches and shit, like the Ruffles cheddar sour cream. Those are pretty good.
Well, those are pretty good, yeah.
Or Funyuns. Just I could live off those probably.
Oh yeah, don't get me started.
I know
on
that
Funyuns.
Yeah. I'm not trying to pull off Breaking Bad. I just have always had an obsession with those.
Yeah.
Those and I think it was because we were poor as a young guy, and Funyuns and Zero bars were always at the gas station when I was close to it.
Yeah.
So I would get those two things like it was a fancy treat.
My dad would do this because he wasn't poor, but he's trying to save money to not be poor. To show you that you don't need the rich things to be in life. Well, he had a wife who'd be like, you spent that much at the 7-Eleven on the way home from the beach? You could have just come straight home. So my dad would do this. He would go in there and we'd get the Slurpees. That's 70 cents each, right? 79 cents each. We all three got Slurpees, me and my brother and my dad. So that's less than $3. And then one thing of those 3 packs of the Hostess Zingers.
Yeah.
Then I got a cake, he got a cake, and Andrew got a cake. And that was less than $5. Dude, that's budgeting right there. Dad budgeting right there.
Good times, yeah.
If you got
have your priorities.
If you got one kid, that's an even better deal because then you get 2 and the kid gets 1.
That's what I love about having a 4-year-old. When I order pizza, I get 7 slices. Daddy's full. I'm glad you ordered pizza tonight.
Daddy's tummy is now a drum.
Speaking of, since the new year, I think I've probably put on roughly 20 pounds.
Yeah. Speaking of that, my 3-year-old comes in and wants to hit on my tummy. No, don't climb me.
Oh, mine gave me hell about my little
don't
belly
climb me.
today. Daddy, you're getting fat. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that's what they've been saying to me lately too. I was like, when I married my wife, I was like my lowest ever. I was like 160 for being 5'10" and a half, 5'11", somewhere in that zone. That's not too bad, right? And hey, what are you doing there, dear? You're gonna break my guitar.
Good
Whatever.
time.
I have kids. All my things supposed to be broken soon, but
it's okay.
But
I think all my guitars are damaged in some way.
And I floated up when I was working at Boeing, a little bit up to like the 175 thing. Once I got laid off here though, and I was in the pandemic, I'm at like 200 and something, 205.
Ooh. Yeah, nice. Yeah.
It feels like, you know what it is? Now I do something my dad did, and I never understood why he did it. I've never done this to my kids, but they're like, let's race. And we used to just, race. Now, my kid goes, the other day on the way to the bus stop, she goes, let's race. And I go, nah. And then I start running to get ahead of her so that I have a chance of winning.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm running and I'm sitting there thinking, oh my God, my legs could break like toothpicks at any moment here.
When I was a kid, man, I had a paved basketball goal area in the backyard where I would just turn into an Indian and play for hours pretending I was, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But, dude,
You're doing
thought because I was trying.
Doing hook shots?
Go ahead.
Doing hook shots like Larry Bird?
Oh yeah. I got pretty good, man. I could when I was younger, before my growth spur happened, I was pretty coordinated and pretty talented at basketball. But after that, I looked like Shaquille O'Neal on the basketball court, just flopping the. You're no unicorn. You are not Grace defined.
That's awesome. Did you end up? So did you end up eating those chips in a time of need when you came back to your car?
This is the fun part. I came back when they were basically stale cardboards.
Oh yeah, yeah. You'll be.
It was
picking
not
that.
the crunchy satisfaction that I was expecting when I threw the entire handful in my mouth. I was like, "Oh, that's not even going to to be swallowed."
It's like wadding.
That's
it's
coming
like,
back, yeah.
You'll be picking that out of your teeth all day long.
It really was terrible. I don't remember what. I think I just smoked a bowl or something.
It's like taking a bite out of packing peanuts at that point. It's like, Jesus. You get the Cheetos, you leave them open just overnight. You forgot to seal the bag. You wake up in the morning and you go for them. and they're literally like packing peanuts.
They're bam bam bats.
It's not crunch. It's like kind of like
you can hear the air pockets as they just explode. Kind of. That's not the intended effect.
Mm-hmm. It's too funny.
Man, I watched earlier. Apparently, the Pope decided that gays are allowed at church, but they don't recognize their homosexuality. That's a big deal, apparently, but it doesn't affect me in any way.
Oh, the Catholic Church?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the one where you can have sex with a dude and the next day you just go to the
You just say 3 Hail Marys and you're
yeah. Okay, cool. I'll do it again tonight.
Buy your
Sounds
way
easy.
into heaven. You got one of those pamphlets? How about that?
Oh, wait. I don't need forgiveness from God himself. I can just get it from you? The one that's raping little boys behind the booth? Okay, sounds good.
Call me crazy, but a Jesuit Pope is a little bit too much. It just seems wrong.
It's,
the guy seems like a real weirdo creep.
Here's the thing: is
relate to the whole popery.
If the people are going to get upset by the guy saying something like that, they get to realize they're just getting upset at basically other people's opinion of what you do.
These are the modern day Sadducees and Pharisees type of issues that really, for me, it has no bearing in any part of my life. I could not care at all what the Catholic Church decides is okay, because they decided pedophilia was okay a while back, and that shit ain't cool.
You know what? Getting upset at the church for making this decision would be like getting upset at Robin Williams if he came out as gay. I'm actually gay this whole time. Oh, now I don't like Robin Williams movies. Oh, really? So he stopped being funny, and now you can't laugh at him. And you won't
like all these cancel culture things.
Yeah,
like, you people can't appreciate things for what they are. You have to have this like cult behind it before you can even keep it in your life, and it's like so bizarre.
Did you hear they're going to tear down the pyramids? They're tearing down the pyramids next week
in Giza.
Yeah, they're going to tear.
Is it because of all those sarcophagi things they found and shit?
No, they're actually tearing them down. They're just going to tear them down, and they're actually going to smash all the bricks, and they're just going to return it to the sand. 2 reasons. First off, that's not where those rocks originally came from, so they got to get put back to their original place. And second, they were all moved by slave labor, and so that's basically those are pro-slavery, those pyramids. So since slavery's wrong, we're going to get rid of the most historical pieces in history.
Right. Well, let's go ahead and take down Zeus's temple and everything else too. Let's get rid of any wonders.
Yep, they canceled the pyramids. It's about to happen.
Can't use any roads that go into China. That shit's...
Yep. They're also going to tear down. Yep, they're also tearing down the Great Wall of China. Yep,
that's perfect.
All of history's getting torn down.
That dog is aggressive as shit. Sorry, I'm at a tattoo artist's house, and I'm kind of with a friend, and I'm stepping outside so I can have the conversation.
Oh, good. Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
You getting a tattoo in the last 2.5 square inches you got left that aren't tattooed?
Like that Weird Al song. I have sleeved up my left arm, but my right arm's still pretty empty. It's just got 2. I've got the Ghostbusters and the Beatles there.
I can't say I don't have any tattoos, which I'd love to say I don't. But I got real drunk one night and tattooed the lines in the palm of my hand. And so the palm of my hand actually has what looks like incomplete ink.
Like you're constantly a greasy worker from the shop?
Yeah, because it's mostly gone away, but like some of it's still there. I tried to show the blog people in case they wanted to see. Nice. But basically just incoherent dotted lines and deep underneath my skin.
I didn't have any of the transfer paper, and I had never tattooed in my life when I got my gun, so I just kind of went for it. And now I have like this Aquaman sleeve that turns into a Rebel Alliance Star Wars symbol on my hand. Too weird to live, too
Let's just say this
written on me.
The guy who tattooed my lines on my palm of my hand, let's just put it this way. His tattoo gun was shaped like a marijuana leaf, and he had a
he's focused.
And he had a tattoo of a rubber chicken hanging from a nail right below his knee, so he could say, "My cock hangs below my knees."
Joe Bar Grill, Albuquerque, New Mexico, is what said it down the side of my packer.
So if you're willing to tattoo that on your knee, you pretty much don't have any tattoo ethics. Good thing I didn't get hepatitis or anything like that.
Hey, we just dipped it in some water. It's good.
Oh yeah, that literally is what they did between me and the guy next to me.
Classy. It's like a heart-shaped bathtub. Nice. I have, well, I told you I had kind of a crappy go at it, didn't I? Yesterday, or did I inform you? I think I told you.
Yeah, you were saying the lady kicks you out.
Oh, yeah. Well, my baby mama, that we were like basically kind of staying and co-parenting in the same place because my daughter and me are pretty close. And, you know, I hadn't been able to record because she's very, when I'm baby daddy and family guy, she won't let me create. There's no, I'm just doing chores and listening to orders. Yeah, she's not the kindest person.
That was my ex, and I don't think it was necessarily something that she knew she was doing. Let's just say that she didn't really realize that her, like, everything set the way she wanted it was keeping me from having things be on the fly. It was keeping me from being able to just...
I couldn't be spontaneous at all.
Go in the back room and...
I was on the wing.
Hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm going to disappear for an hour and a half, but... I could practice, and I would practice, and I'd set up a camera, but it would usually be, 15, 20 minutes. It wouldn't be the 3 to 6 hours that sometimes takes to record a song.
Right.
And
that's the isolation necessary for the creating is impossible.
The only times I did have that chance is when she was sleeping. Mm-hmm. So then it was like I had to do everything.
But you still worry about them waking up from the sounds you're making.
So I wouldn't. I would do it all. I would do it all MIDI paint, MIDI draw, if you will, and all in my headphones, and they can't hear it from the other room, kind of recording. And nothing sounded as good as it does now, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah. But that was a great period of time where riff after riff got stored away in the deep recesses of my not my wrinkly nutsack, in my wrinkly brain.
I almost said forehead because my lines are starting to get bad these days. Laugh lines like a motherfucker.
What were you thinking? I'll raise my eyebrows, and that's basically what it looks like, my nutsack on top of my head.
It pretty much looks like a standard issue notebook paper. It's got 1 line, 2 line, 24.
Is that college rule?
It's extra wide. I don't know. It's definitely got the tabs and the columns on the sides of it. You could probably write a small novel.
I'm bald, so I actually I'm pretty good right there in that spot to be for my age. Right, I don't think I'm that bad, but I get wrinkles like on top of my head, on the top area. There's these little lines. They kind of just look like the shit's, the shit's made of multiple pieces of flesh that are just sitting next to each other or something.
You've got head rolls, belly rolls there.
My wife says she chirped in on the blog. I don't have laugh lines. I have anger lines or angry lines.
Oh man.
Well, she's gonna live with me
anymore. Honestly, I've that part of me that holds on to. Okay, I need to be at least up to the standard of presentable. That went out the window a minute ago.
I got bald pride, and when I see someone like Joe Biden or Elon Musk, I can only appreciate them so much because they could be bald men and proud, and they aren't. They're like, I have to.
I need plugs.
Basically that. I need hormones, and I need girls' hormones and plugs and DHT blockers in order to be a whole man. Well, I don't want to see you with your pants off because you probably got a tiny dick. And that's just, maybe they don't, but I'm just being judgmental at that point. I'm like,
you talking about the guy that drives the 14-inch lift, full-size extended cab dually pickup?
Well, she passed me, and it wasn't a guy, it was a girl. So definitely,
yeah, chicks are into the overcompensation thing.
Yeah, they definitely are. In this area, there's a lot of trucks, and it seems more than half of them are tiny women. That if
you're kidding. You don't even know the half of it. I live in Arkansas, where the standard issue vehicle is a pickup because everyone farms or does something crazy, redneck, whatever.
Okay.
But yeah,
here's a
if
judge.
They're a woman in their 20s, probably driving a truck bigger than you've ever needed.
If they trip on the way out, they're going to break their neck falling out of that thing.
You know those fire escape ladders that you can put upstairs? They jump out, roll down, lie out. That's what I said, booby traps.
What was it? What was I was going to say? You know what's a good judge if you're in a redneck area? Is if when you're driving around on a sunny day, are there people with giant 6 foot by 4 foot American flags flowing from the back of their truck?
That sounds more like Texas or Oklahoma.
No, see, that's right where I'm at. Right where I'm at. There's still a guy with a fucking Trump flag.
Yeah.
Just last weekend.
Everyone has enough guns that everyone's too scared to show their support. I'm just playing.
Oh yeah, here there's, at least with this neighborhood I'm in, people, they show their support. They do it. I don't know if they're getting guns shot at them by the other folks or whatever, but
where I have been unfortunately placed in this life, there is about, I could maybe think of a handful of people that are relatable to my person. But since there's no options, people here, compromise and end up with cliques that don't even resemble a clique, really. You're like, who is this? It's our team at the telemarketing service down the road, or what the fuck? Here's Barbara, she's 45, and then we got Sam, he's 72, and then there's Jim, he's 33.
And this is Pico.
None of us have anything in common.
This is Pico, he's 15, and he's Argentinian. He doesn't speak any English, but he hangs out with us all day long.
And he has the best weed.
What's that character from that 70s show?
Fez.
What is it?
Fez, but I'm saying it like his. It's Fez, F-E-Z.
Yeah.
He said it like that. He said it Fez.
Yeah, that is exactly the kind of guy, you got to have one of those. If you don't have one of those, your clique ain't complete.
The Fez at my school was a guy named Andrew Lynn, and he was blonde hair, blue eyed, and he took Taekwondo and thought he was Billy Badass. But really, he was a, well, I don't mean to say this in a hateful way, but he was a closet homosexual at the time, and none of us really understood that here because there was not many. In a town where the class has 26 people in it, you don't really have a whole lot of.
In the band I was in, Idiot Arsenal, we had the closet homosexual in our band, and we didn't even know it. He was 6'8". He had long blonde hair. He talked just like the dudes. There was no way of detecting.
What they call them, bears nowadays?
Yes, they call them bears. Yes, exactly what they call them.
You have no idea that that's what they're into, but that's what they're into. Okay.
Yep. He was 6'8", thin, kind of not necessarily a rail, but pretty much. Basically just a skinnier guy, and he was into the big guys. And one night he didn't show up for practice, and we're like, "Where the fuck are you?" And he just had to go, "I'm at my boyfriend's house. We're having a date. It's our anniversary. Sorry." And we're like, "Dude, he's gay? It all makes sense. That's why he didn't want to sign the tits of that one girl after the show. Jesus, it all makes sense. Why would he not want to do that? Now it makes sense."
That's funny. Oh man, he's the only dude I ever beat up too. Fun fact: at my school, my mother, when she was younger, babysat him.
Wait, I thought he was the one that knew Taekwondo and could kick an apple off your head.
He I don't remember what color belt he was, but I rammed that head into a heavy weighted sports facility door multiple times, and he was bleeding pretty good before the superintendent came and caught us.
I'm pretty sure I know what color the belt is. Rainbow.
Yep, that's what it is. God's love on his belt.
Yes.
You feel it.
That is a total appropriation. We should be mad about that. Cancel culture. We should take the rainbow back.
Sacrilegious use of a symbol.
Yeah, that's a symbol from the Bible.
Hey, I know you're gay, but give me back my rainbow.
Yeah, give me back my rainbow. That's Jesus' rainbow, okay?
I'm not even upset that they do what they do. It's just
Exactly.
like they've got this demand list of what they want in life, and we don't get to do that as people. Like,
well, we're white people.
Culturally,
we already have everything we
can't make demands just because you feel, you know, like the pink elephant. That's not my fault that you're, you know, talking like an effeminate woman and you have balls. That's whatever.
Hey, man.
I don't think that just because you like dudes you should change the voice. That's always confused me.
And I know that you and I are similar enough in this that we're only joking here. We don't mean anything in hate.
No, I love everybody. I'm just saying, like,
the funny thing is,
like, it's hard to ask the questions that you want to ask without offending people anymore. Right. And I'm just trying to become informed.
Yeah, you're like tiptoeing, just trying to have a question.
I learned a long time ago, I love women and their vaginas, so I don't worry about what dudes have to offer.
Right. Well, I don't mind. I'll play in a band with you, bro, but I ain't gonna suck your dick.
I mean, you've got your closet room, and I'm going in my stage room. We get dressed in our own places. This is what's called adult life.
All my bandmates, by the way, they can all claim me too, because they probably all seen my dick at some point, getting out of a pool or some shit. I flashed them at some point, being a fucking young whippersnapper. So I guess they all have trauma. They can't get a hard on anymore. It's been 15 years, but now they're seeing images of, they're remembering my giant. They're remembering seeing Christopher in his full disrobement.
It's funny you said that. It's funny. The way you were wording the descriptions reminded me of this chick. She was describing mine to me, and she was like, "It's elegant."
Elegant? Hey,
I was like, "What does that mean?"
Don't call it small. Oh, did you say elephant? Did you say elephant? I think you said elephant.
She wasn't complaining about the size. She was saying that its aerodynamics was impressive or something like that. And I was like, okay, I can take that. You know, it does have nice formed edges.
Then you're supposed to spit on it, shine it, and say, and it's shiny too.
Well, you know. If you talk to it, it will grant wishes, I think, or something like that.
My wife says elegant ... laugh my ass off.
Sometimes it spits like a camel for randomly. I don't know.
Hey, did that get in your eye? Sorry about that.
I totally didn't mean to hit that. I've got to go to work.
I was aiming for the other camel.
You are what you smoke. You are what you smoke, and I definitely chief on camel.
Oh yeah, you like the camel straights though, right? Because everything's got to be straight, right?
I don't. Listen, I'm as unformaligned as possible. I'm the question mark if we're given any type of.
They're changing the name of. They're changing the name of camel straights too, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Bisexual, because you can puff them from either direction.
All right, new topic, man. New topic. That was funny. Here's where my psychological issue with that type of thing really messed me up. Once I was at this bar. It was a sports bar, and I was blackout drunk back then. It's been over a decade ago, but this guy I've been hanging out with there at the bar didn't know him. We just been talking, chit-chatting, watching the game or whatever, drinking. He looks at me after about 3 or 4 hours of just hanging out, normal talk, and he's like, "Hey, your arms look like dicks. Has anyone ever told you that? They're so veiny." And I'm like, excuse me?
Yes, my mom always says that.
I said, I never have looked at my arms and saw that, but thank you for giving me this horrible image to have to look at my arm.
Well, come see my band. Come see my extra 2 dicks play guitar.
He's a dick octopus.
You should see them when they're glistening in sweat after I play the drums. They look elegant.
I just played the bass drum for a reason. Boom, boom.
That's funny. Okay, here's a question.
But that really did happen. That wasn't some.
No, I'm sure it did.
Bar story. That was an awkward moment, and I'm pretty sure the guy was a distant cousin of mine. So I guess Arkansas profiling fits.
Only in Arkansas.
You're barking up the same tree that you came out of. So,
what was that I was going to ask? I was going to ask some random questions. Let's go look at what I said here.
Let's see.
I said.
I will come up with the most random responses.
I said this. Oh yeah. I was going to ask, do you think aliens are real?
I believe that whatever that encounter or whatever you want to call it is something that is more leaning towards whatever the creatures were that were described when they would be, more of a spiritual realm maybe, or dimensional thing. I'm not entirely sure.
Could aliens be like spiritual beings?
I believe they're demonic or possibly just avatars for the whatever. I don't know, because I've never had a person that had an encounter that I could confirm real enough to get that kind of in-depth thing.
Direct one-on-one conversation with an encountered person.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched every interview with every guy that has some credibility, but really even their stories seem like far-fetched to me. A lot of the details just seem like too exaggerated, or maybe they're just trying to sell their story or whatever, but I think it could be, advanced government, subcompartment, whatever, like MK Ultra was or whatever. It could be just different type of advanced technologies being privately used, and those things I've heard some people describe them as, like suits, kind of like they're organic, they're like an avatar or something. Is that one guy was trying to describe?
Highly unlikely that it's like a mass of them are coming to our planet day and night, and they're in cahoots with the government, and it's all
I think they're coming to the core, if they're coming, or they're coming from the ground, or I don't even really know, man, because
teleporting to some spot in the bottom of the ocean, popping up in the middle of the ocean, coming out, flying around, going back under the ocean, and all of a sudden they're gone back in their planet again, or whatever.
The way they defy physics is sometimes like, what? How did this thing do what it was doing? And it's to hear the older guys that are, I guess, recently dead, they said that it was German technology that they got from some other ET type thing, and like a electrogravitical type stuff.
Yeah.
Things that doesn't obey our current energy abilities. And I don't really understand how we can have technologies that could take us to the moon in the 60s, and then now we don't even have the technology to make it out of our atmosphere.
No, we do.
Well, that's what NASA said. They said they don't even have suits left.
Well, you know what it is go ahead and boot up your Windows 98 computer and show me all the music you made on Windows 98. It's been 20 years, and that shit ain't working. Well, the other stuff, that was 40 years ago, and it just doesn't work anymore. It's like the Chuck E. Cheese animatronic robots.
So it just has like a half-life on its ability, or like the fuel, or what part of it? Because they never really explained in the interview I was
what's going on is
explained what technology they no longer have.
What they don't have is they don't have two things. They don't have a union that still kept the employees passing on knowledge to the other ones on how to weld and build these advanced spacecraft that took mistake after mistake to get better. So that's why Elon Musk is doing all that shit over again. And he's doing it in a compressed time because technology allows for them to improve and build faster. So think about, at Boeing, every single thing is engineered. What I do for the day is engineered. There's an engineer that plans what every person does. There's an engineer that plans on how it relates to the build for the plane. And it used to be, they used to just send guys out in the plane and be like, what are you doing next? What are you doing next? And it would take longer. Now they can build planes more effectively and quicker. They pass on the knowledge because if you go into Boeing, half the stuff you're reading is a document from 1967, right? But
so it's like standard practice of whatever.
If something were to happen and all those files would be erased, Boeing wouldn't know how to build Boeing planes. And that's basically...
Really? Because it's blueprinted that long ago?
Yeah. Because some of those files are for so long ago that they're all stacked on top of each other. It's a knowledge stacked on knowledge stacked on knowledge. And if you were to lose a big chunk of it, So that's why the Chinese have stolen over 2 million documents from Boeing in the last 10 years.
Sounds like that's why the editing of the Bible failed so epically.
They could never catch up. China could never catch up with the technology without stealing what Boeing has already built upon.
Well, the thing about the Chinese is they are They are crafty, man. They will.
They're
MacGyver.
But the reliability of a plane needs to be next to 100% Uberschall perfect.
Yeah.
So you can't. If you had
field workers don't really have that kind of.
Yeah. So no matter how determined and how hardworking they are, they need that core knowledge to be there. That's kind of the same thing that happened. It's the trajectories. It's the how it's built is all kind of lost. It's all kind of a lost art. And so
there's no ancestral lineage passed down anymore because it's just kind of being.
Yeah, and that's.
I think that's what's happened to the world in general.
It really is.
There's no more officers and gentlemen being taught, morality or code of ethics. It's just people learning their own thing, and everyone becomes their own personal messiah in the process. And
it's an individualistic society for sure. The team effort is.
What about me? Me.
The team effort is tainted with what about me's and me's. And the working for a greater good is not as common as it used to be. And think about this: because
the government's here to help.
if the internet were to get destroyed because half of the population was gone, let's just say the disease,
for instance,
COVID 2030 or whatever, something happens, and half or more of the population is wiped out in a half a year period. Look at how this shutdown with everyone still alive is affecting us. If half of everybody were to die, and a bunch of the internet gets destroyed or ransacked or all this stuff, and now we don't have internet anymore, we don't have this technology.
Debt tracing.
How are we gonna not just debt, but how are we gonna spread knowledge? The books that were written 500 years ago still exist. And if you go try and take your recording from 20 years ago, good luck finding the way to open it up.
Yeah.
But if you go
it's just for 32-bit and you're using 64.
Yeah, exactly. It's something like the technology translation is not as good as it used to be with books and hard copies, right?
Yeah.
And that's the problem with
physical.
That's literally NASA's problem is they put everything on tape, this magnetic tape, and now there's only one reader, and because there was only one reader and they had a shortage of tapes in the 1980s, they wrote over all those tapes. Okay, go to the store. Bye.
Oh man,
my little girl.
Hearing that made me hurt. Just knowing that, I didn't cause anything for her to throw me out the way she did. It's just
that's rough stuff.
It's not fair. I hate it for Audrey.
I've been there. I've had that happen. I've been involved where that's happened to me. I've also had the situation where kind of like when your lady went and she go to Memphis, right?
She moved her away to Memphis at 8 months old after having been in my life every day of her life,
And I had this very similar thing, and I was every day in their life. And when I met Julianne, and we told her that we were having a kid, she disappeared to Utah, and that happens. Luckily, she came back. It did take a bunch of court.
Mine never came back. She stayed gone 3 years, and we had to make the 6-hour one-way trip and back. So 12 total traveling hours every other week. Just
I only know it for 3 months, sir.
But I wasn't allowed to ever go pick her up or anything. So all those years, my mom and dad were having to go do this for me to get her to my house. And then, like I said in yesterday's call, the week they moved back to Arkansas is when she pulled all this crap on me and got me in trouble for what I'm going through.
Right.
I would explain more, but I just don't feel like throwing all that out right now. It's a long, unnecessary thing that I'm going through, and it almost cost me my home. It cost me my car already. I have a crappy one now, but people would rather let you suffer some undeserved thing than ever admit that, hey, I jumped the gun and I might have messed up here, They'd rather
there are plenty
double
of people.
up their
plenty of people
just to because just today she was saying something about it, and I'm like, well, look, my phone died. I was not going anywhere. I went home after telling you I was going there to check my property. No one ever told me I did anything wrong, and then next thing I know, I have a gun to my head saying I've kidnapped my own daughter on my house.
Right,
on my house,
No, your son.
That's what the paper reads. I don't have a son. I have a daughter. And,
I know.
And, you know, like, every detail of this story.
People get it wrong, and people don't know that's the thing. People can never know the truth of your intimacy and what happened between you two. And they'll speculate, but they just can't know. And I've seen both kinds of women. I've seen it all. So.
I don't know if I've seen any recently that are the kind that you're, want to become part of their lives with. Well, everyone that is so shallow, it seems like lately, or they're just so.
I think they all moved out of Arkansas.
Disconnected.
They all moved out of Arkansas, dude. I think that's what.
I think they all married off or something. Yeah. I don't know.
They're living in Arkansas. They got married earlier, moved out. That's what happened.
Well, they all married their high school sweetheart. Right. They're all hyper religious. They can't have sex till they're married. So as soon as they get out of high school,
if you can't try before you buy, then what the fuck?
I was a little bit more of I need to go ahead and test drive this Porsche. You got insurance? Okay, I'm gonna go pretty fast.
Do the headlights flip up with the switch? Nope. Okay. Well, I did already drive it and I did already like it, but the headlights don't automatically flip up like I wanted.
Yeah. In my earlier, more vulnerable years, I spent some time wasting away with beautiful women, and now they have disappeared like the plague has just ended that creation. It doesn't exist here, and if it does, it's an illusion, because the baggage or whatever unnecessary thing that comes with it is not worth it.
Okay, here's another one of the random questions. If you could live forever, would you live forever?
I kind of think we, in a way, do, if we have a certain
10,000 years. What it was 10,000 years of your body, and you aged. You aged
they lived
to 30
800 years at one point.
Well, let's say you aged to 30, and then you stayed between 30 and 50 for 8,000 years, and then the last 100 years or so, you kind of slowly died.
Go Yoda style.
Yeah. Even though that was only 1,000 years, but still, like, would you go 10,000 years? Would you live that long if you could?
10,000 years, bright shining as a sun. I guess so.
Would you get bored?
If the soul's eternal, then it exists in the beginning, and he knew us then before we were formed. I guess we always have had an eternal existence, in one way or another. It's just that I think we accept these brainwashing techniques that we've developed for ourselves, I guess, to deny things we understand when we're young, and then when we get older, we just completely have written it out of our system.
Is it our own brainwashing techniques, or is it somewhat of a systematic cultural thing that happens?
I think it's socioeconomics. It's just the putting the emphasis on things and rather than yourself or people.
Yeah.
You need the new car because that old one is 2 years old and it's got a dent in it, so you're not a good enough person unless you have that new car that you got to get insurance for, that you got to do all this tax pay, all this random unnecessary cost that we use in our lives is the massive distractions of life that really aren't that important. It's gluttony in its finest, at least. We bloat ourselves off of our desires and our fashion and our things that we own. None of it's really necessary, man. I could live off ramen noodles and random cheap foods if it can still be produced or whatever. I'm not like a demanding. Here's an elemental part of the question then. How about frame it a little bit differently and ask it like this. Do you ever sit down when you go to write a song and think that maybe I can write a song that will immortalize me for 10,000 years? Do you ever sit down trying to write something that's so good that your kids... I feel like it's already been done so many times by so many great people that I can't bring... Every song has been written in a new way, or word, phrasing. Yeah. Everything's been said, so it's tough to get your spot in that line anymore.
Yeah.
I've said some things that I thought were profound in different things I've done, and then no one even mentioned it to me. It was kind of like, I thought I was breaking some boundaries here with kind of intellectualism thought tracks on things that aren't mentioned much, but then it just like flopped.
What's one of the greatest pop rock songs lyrically ever written?
Pop rock?
You know, like stuff that you hear on the radio. That's all I'm actually getting at. Clearly, classic rock could be metal. What's the track that of the things that are famous and world known? You know.
That's a tough one, man. In pop rock, let's see. I think that every time that I hear, let's see, I'm trying to think of the title. There's a certain Zeppelin guitar lick that every time I hear it, it just brings that same, like, that is the nastiest, awesomest guitar noise I could ever imagine.
When it comes to Led Zeppelin, there's that one. Boom, doo 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 doo, boom, boom, doo 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 doo. I think it's called No Quarter, but I'm not sure, right?
No,
it's not No Quarter. Oh yeah. Bonner, Dyer.
You're talking about like Bonnier Stomp, or maybe like it's in between that song called The Seaside, I think.
Yeah, but that
on that same album is that Present? Yeah.
That's
really cool.
That one's a really good. That's a riff that
the way it does that
lasts forever.
It goes up an octave on the end and things like. Now we're talking in
it's almost like
language here.
It's almost like they harnessed a little bit of Yes and a little bit of their own style and a little bit. They really were doing something
Jimmy
awesome.
Was always so inside of his own head when he was coming up with what he was doing that he really didn't take into consideration a whole lot of the other influences that had caused him to be what he was being. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that I've tried to do that with myself, but I ended up falling into patterns over time with certain types of music or whatever. I tend to fall into the same groove.
It's almost like he was having a conversation with music itself, to be honest.
That's what I'm shooting for, because I don't really have a understanding of what note I'm doing. I just know the feel and where the range should be on a, like where I can complement it, and the energy just kind of comes out of me. And sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. A lot of the times it's because of tuning drops, because of bad guitar tuner machines or whatever, but the energy that kind of brings is why Zeppelin was so good. They were a live band making studio albums that were epic, like
if I were to pick my favorite songs, there's a kind of a two-way tie between Cats in the Cradle.
Let me look at my playlist and I'll give you a better idea.
You know that Cats in the Cradle, where the one that
Cat
says,
Stevens?
No, it's Harry Chapin.
Okay.
It's he goes it's where he's talking about his son goes, "Hey Dad, let's go do this, let's go do that." And he goes, "I'm too busy, I'm working."
Come on, let's play.
Yeah, I'm too busy, I'm working, and then he calls up his son, and his son goes, "Sorry, me and the kids are busy, and the one kid's sick. I'd love to see you, but I'm too busy, Dad."
Yeah.
And I realized my son had become just like me.
Yeah, that's what my dad had never really been able to swallow in his lifetime, is that he created what he wanted, but then when he got the product, he didn't like the result or the way it was accomplished. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My dad
taught me,
a lot about and I would listen to that
stuff.
We would listen to that song and cry together, so I got lucky on that front, I'll tell you that.
There you go. I did that.
So I know I can call my dad and be like, "You must come down for this brisket. You must." And if I bugged him enough, he would actually come down,
My dad, 2 days ago, when I was planting those trees for him, he made me a filet mignon with wrapped bacon and everything, and I was just like, oh man. After his heart problems a few years ago, he never cooks like that, but he had one made specially for me in the stove when I got there to do that, and it was like heaven.
He was going to eat it alone, but then you got there and you caught him. He's like, "Oh, I made this for you."
Yeah, he is good about, his mental warfare is on point. He was a E7 in the Army, so he's like a first-class staff sergeant guy that every detail has to be well, inspected, and my sister's the same way.
That's why your hair always looks so good.
Believe it or not, I I think that what I see when I'm looking at myself is not what other people see, because I get compliments and I can't take them very well.
Yeah.
It's the chubby 12-year-old in me.
Yep. You know the other. You know the
t-shirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. You know the other song I really love, but I don't think it really has the fame and credit it deserves. Is that, do you like pina coladas?
Caught in a ring.
Yeah, it's one guy, he puts an ad out in the paper for a chick, and then he gets a reply.
The lyrical concept,
he gets a reply, and the lady's going, oh yeah, I like that too, and they meet, and it's his wife. Oh, it's you. It's just you again. I didn't know you liked pina coladas and getting caught in the rain. Yeah, and it's like a fresh restart. They were both going to cheat. And they end up hooking up again with themselves. That would make a great movie. I was telling my wife at dinner today, that would make a great movie.
If anyone ever tried to make a movie about my life, it would just be a weird variation of watching Hunter S. Thompson. Yeah. Jesus Christ, I'm just out here trying to survive.
Nicolas Cage needs a Nicolas Sparks needs to write a Pina Colada, the book.
Get these epic writers on it. I'm still looking through my playlist here. I don't know. Some of the Rage Against the Machine tracks when I was younger and when I first heard them were pretty life-changing for me, especially the Battle for Los Angeles album. That one I probably played until it wouldn't work anymore.
That's Rage Against the Machine, right?
Yeah. It's got and that one that's Renegades of Funk, it's got a bunch of covers on that one album they made.
Yep.
That one really was played a lot, and for some reason I like these rare hits bands that I got into when I was a kid, like Nada Surf. I listened to every one of their albums, and I think it's the most beautiful and epically well-made, processed albums that I've ever listened to. The guy's voice is angelic and really well presented.
Have you ever heard that song, Detachable Penis?
No.
It was a 90s song, and it's like, it's like, detachable penis, and the guy's like, I went to a party and I got really confused and I didn't know what I did with it. So the next morning when I woke up, I was, I went down to the street and blah blah, and there was a guy and he was sitting there with a towel out and he had my penis and he was selling it, and I asked him how much for. Detachable penis. It's like really weird. But I heard that when I was a kid, and that was like the first song that got me thinking I want to make music. And I liked Weird Al, I liked Prince, I liked a lot of different music. And I grew up.
I listened to parody music a lot. Yeah, I was Dr. Demento and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I just thought that was so crazy that was on the radio like it was a real hit. It was such a bizarre subject matter. It had an MTV video, and the guy's talking about a detachable penis, and then he's not even singing. He's like talking. It's like insane. Cake, like Cake, how they kind of talk.
Like the Butthole Surfers kind of?
Yeah.
Cruising down the
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
It's been a long time since I even thought of those.
Or bands, Beck, my time is a piece of wax falling on a splinter, or falling on a termite, choking on the splinters.
I got into a bunch of his work. I liked the Golden Age, and I liked the Information and Gamma Ray album or whatever.
He does something different every time. He's like a genre bender,
I had been called him before when I was younger, and I didn't really know much about him. But after I'd given him an ear and got into what he was talking about and how he presented his music, I really could relate to what he was doing. It's like dance, rock, pop, blues thing that he
people
kind of.
It
doesn't matter how he has to make
often compare my music to Bloodhound Gang, and I'm like, okay. I'll accept it. You don't realize how much that's a compliment to me. That some dude might hear that and he'd be like, what the fuck? I need to reconsider my life and make different choices. Right? And I hear that and I'm like, yes. Titty Titties is the next song. Look out for it.
You and me, baby, ain't nothing. I had that album.
I did too. It was a titty.
It looked like a boob, I think.
Yeah, it was a boob.
Yeah.
The CD was a boob, and you could put your finger through it, and it was like a nipple. The finger was like
Wasn't
a nipple.
there a really weird, another weird song on that album? I can't remember the freaking title of any of the songs right now, but I listened to it a lot. I bought it around the same time 311 and a few other bands.
There was that one where he's talking about bringing Tracy Lane back to like he's dating Tracy Lane, like a porn star.
Okay.
That one was good. It's like kind of metal-ish. It was like metal meets like
that might be the one I'm
punk.
talking about.
Yeah,
kind of aggressive.
Tracy Lane. You're like, what the fuck? He's totally talking about crazy shit in these songs, but yeah, definitely inspiring. I think I still have the CD. I would have to go look and see, but I think I do.
Yeah,
I don't have a CD player really anymore. I got a DVD player, so I guess I can play it on. But
nice. I had a bunch of influences, so many that I can't really keep up with the different parts of my life that contributed to whatever I was listening to that influenced me at the time. Like, my CD collection was 3 or 4 of those thicker ones when I was younger, so over time they've been slowly stolen and misplaced everywhere, so I just transferred it and kept it on different things, and I still don't even get to listen to a fraction of what I've collected or made over the time that I was doing it. It's a lifetime of educating yourself in music, I guess.
Yeah.
If we're to try to, I mean, like, it really is a dedication of collecting and listening and learning all these different things about all these different people.
Now,
it's like a trivial.
Now here's something that just came on. It's Drums Only 764, and I just now liked it. So obviously I was never informed of your forking my song.
Where? On Bandland?
Yeah. See, because we're
Which
playing
one?
your music in the background, and Drums
I can't
Only.
hear.
I know you can't hear it, but I can hear it. It's in my ear. But
Gotcha.
Drums Only 764, and you're drumming to it. It's just like a minute and a half long. It says right here.
That one. I remember it.
It says right here, it's inspired by Mr. Mistake Maker, but I never got told about it. That was only what? How long ago was that?
I did some guitar work on it or something, didn't I?
Yeah, and that was only like a month ago. I knew I would have saw it.
I think what it was is when I posted it, I didn't mean to post the first post. It was like an editing part, and I just accidentally hit publish, and I took it down immediately, and then reposted the fixed one. But the link never really fixed after that, and I only got like 6 listens, I think, on my player.
Yeah, eight now. So yeah, that might be the case.
It might have been a delayed fixing of the link for some people. I don't know. This app confuses me sometimes, the way it updates. And
it says you got 2 likes on that song, but sadly it probably was suppressed because it's only me and somebody who's deleted.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because I've been blacklisted or if I just don't have the same appeal, but I haven't really seen the growth or the connections like when we first started using
the algorithm. Can tell how much you're spamming people, and they say you're not spamming enough. You need to spam more. Yeah, you need to.
So I have to keep copying links and stuff.
Yeah, you got to keep dropping links and spamming people.
I post once, or if I edited the edit, I never like.
I'm just speculating. That spamming does it because, and it's not just because people are drawn to your account and then they're like, oh, that was a good one. Now I want to see what he has to say next time and play it and listen and like. Mm-hmm. But it also has to do with like, oh, you're keeping people on our app by spamming them and making them go listen to things. Now you get that reciprocated or something. I don't know if this is real. This is just random
I do that
speculation.
in extended apps enough that I think that might be what's given me a little bit of credibility there for this, because like Instagram and Facebook, I have made the videos and then I took the time to put different personal effects and edits that I made for the videos that I was sharing of my music or whatever music I made with whoever. And making the small animation edits into the artwork seems to catch people's attention. I don't know why.
Yep.
But it's not like live video or
gotta remember,
scenes. It's just
anybody under 25 only has a 6-second attention span anymore anyway, so
nice. Yeah. if it's not what they're wanting to, it's what the 2 Timothy or 1 Timothy mentions, that everyone's ears scratching to hear what they want to hear or whatever.
Right.
No one has the time to listen to, real education or truth on anything. They just want to hear what they want to hear and move on.
I did just download an app. I'm gonna do like a month of it. It's Gaia, Gaia.
That app, I got it. I used it.
Yeah. So I've been holding off. This is my logic on that. Is they're not a huge platform, but they have a lot of. They're building. Right,
they've been blacklisted on major networks and stuff.
Right, and I knew they were blacklisted, but I knew that they had enough following to keep their ball rolling. Right, and so I thought this to myself: okay, if I go now, I'm gonna get my 150 videos worth, and give it in a week. I'll be done watching all 150 videos.
That's kind of what I did, yeah.
But it's a monthly membership, so shit. Let me wait till it has 1,000 videos, and then I'll get it, and I'll use it, and I'll watch all of them in a month, and then I'll unsubscribe. And in a year, I'll get another month, and then I'll watch everything. It's kind of like CBS. I want to watch the CBS. They only have they have the
3 shows.
They have Picard, and they got The Stand.
Clarice.
And I want to watch The Stand, right? But I'm gonna wait till Picard comes out, and then I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna watch both.
You haven't watched Picard all the way through?
No, I watched the first season, but with the next season. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll wait for the next season of Picard to watch The Stand, and I'll get it. I
didn't know they were even coming up with another season of Picard. That's cool though. I was a
I heard they were.
Nerd.
I'm not sure if they've been able to do it, because they wouldn't want to film it and then that actor dies of COVID, and then one person's actually died of COVID. It's famous. They wouldn't want that.
They'd have to have a ceremonial day set aside with a ribbon.
They'd have to point the fingers at us and say, "See, it's because you didn't do lockdown." We're like, what the fuck you film for? Shut up! You guys weren't wearing masks on the show.
Dude, I don't know if you've seen this video, but there was a video of this woman standing 6 feet away from anyone in the bank in Texas the other day after the mandate had went away.
But it's not over, because they're all making you still wear a mask. All the places are still asking you to wear the masks.
Right. So she got trespassing and was arrested. It was an old woman. He took her down and everything, and she was like, "What the fuck, It was her personal bank," and I thought that was kind of weird for a company that has your money to arrest you for trespassing.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up. Yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
You have my financial everything here. And
so my wife just traveled to Texas, and she was down there, and she said the people at the airport, they're like, "Put your mask on," and the places are like, "Do this, do that, put your mask on." And so Texas is supposed to be the all-American progressive place, because they don't give a shit about that, and they're a bunch of right-wingers, but they're actually not. They're actually put your mask on, and they got the balls to tell you should be wearing a mask.
There's such a large area that they have variety, and they don't have the control over it as well as they thought.
Well, up here in Washington, you don't wear a mask. They don't say anything. I don't wear a mask, because I know I do not wear a mask. I think
most of the people I saw today were wearing a mask in Arkansas, and it's been like that for a while. People here are like, "I've had worse spots on my nutsack."
Dude, I go out and I go to the store and I look around, and every single person except for me and my daughter is wearing a mask, time and time again. And I sit there and I think to myself, how am I the only person in here not wearing a mask? How am I the only one?
It's amazing how quickly the herd is programmed like that.
And I've said it before. Have you seen that experiment where they have 10 people
drugs in one of the...
No, they have 10 people in an office, and they have a new person come in, and that's the first person to be experimented on. And they have a beep in the office. It goes beep, and then everybody stands up, and the lady looks around like, why is everyone standing up? A couple minutes later, it goes beep again, everyone stands up, and she's like, should I stand up? And the third time it beeps, she's standing up with everybody, and they're all standing up. Then every single person leaves one at a time, and leaves just that new person in the room. And when it's beeping, she's alone, and she's standing up. and it beeps again. She stands up, and someone new comes into the room, and it beeps, and she stands up, and the new person's like, what? And she tells the new person, you're supposed to be standing when it beeps. And more people come in. Now they're all standing on the beeping. One person passed it on, and everyone else kept taking on the role, and no one understood why. If you put me in that experiment, and you try to get me to stand, I'm not going to stand. I'm going to go break a piece of a hole in their drywall, take it out, the beeping device, and bring it to the lady up front and go, there's something in your fucking wall that's beeping. And they'll be like, well, you're supposed to stand when it beeps. And I go, well, I will not. I don't stand for beeps. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll do the opposite of what I'm told to do. I don't take orders well.
I'm definitely confrontational, kind of an asshole. Roll it all into one, and I just don't conform, so.
I don't mean to be that way. It's just that I don't like to go the same direction as everyone else, or whatever you mean. Like, I do like to experience what the unexperienced is.
Another perfect example of that is we go to the water park as a family. It's me, my brother, and my parents, and that's the size of my immediate family growing up. And my dad orders first. He goes, oh, I'll get a cherry ice cream cone. My mom goes, ooh, that sounds good. I want cherry. And my brother goes, oh, I want cherry. And guess what I was thinking before my dad ordered? I was thinking, I want cherry. But what did I order? Root beer. Could I get root beer? Because I can't be the same as everyone. I can't do it even if I want to.
That's how my musical taste was in high school and in my younger years. If someone else heard it, I was like, done with it. I got to find something else, whatever this is. I do not like them anymore. Who's that? I don't like it.
Yep.
It was like, music for me was my secret to my success, or my secret mojo I had under my belt. I had enough knowledge and musical library collected at a young age, and I was just really well informed with it. I was confident with that. I was the guy that people would call and be like, what's the lyric that says this? And I'd be like, that's this band and that's on this album.
I'd walk into the boundary, because I walked to high school. I'd walk into the boundary of the high school and the back gate, and I'd hit rewind on the song I'm listening to, and I'd be in a group of people in the middle of the school grounds going, Devil man, call it Devil man, running in my head. And people are looking around going, I don't know what, I'm pretty sure I know what he's listening to, but we can't hear the music. All we hear is this guy yelling. And I'm carrying my acoustic, and I'm yelling Devil man in the middle of the school grounds. I don't care what you think. I'm singing my song. Yeah, White Zombie, Supercharger Heaven. I
remember it.
I totally didn't care. Dragula, dig through the ditches, burn through the bitches. Wait, is he saying bitches at school? What was it?
That was my first concert, was Rob Zombie touring with Korn and some other band. And I was freaked the fuck out. I was like 13 or 14 when they came here, and
that guy's got energy, though.
Dude, they had this robot come out shooting fire over me, and I thought that I was almost in hell at that point, because most of the people here in Arkansas, listen, you want to see freaks? Come to Arkansas and go to a Rob Zombie concert. He has a house in Harrison here in Arkansas, and I'm telling you, he is built for these people. Like, he is the trailer park king of all crazy.
Oh, I live in a trailer park. I don't know if you know that.
I mean, just like that, the redneck version of that.
Well, I do live in a trailer park, so I don't know if you know that about me.
Where, 3 of your cousins are have children with each other.
My wife's down in Texas. She meets up with Tommy the Poet, right? She meets up with Tommy the Poet, not Timothy Lee Nixon, Tommy the Poet, right? And she says to him, "Oh, so you know that personality he has on the blog?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, she goes, "That's what he's like all the time." And he's like, "Wait, what? That's not a person. That's not like a made-up personality. He's really always like that." I guess some people don't realize I'm always like this.
you have no off switch when it comes to communication. You are all about the absorbing and giving for whatever you're talking about on whatever topic.
Yeah,
and you've got the gift, man.
I'll talk like this with the lady at the fucking check stand at the store. Anyone.
Yeah, strangers is a more comfortable conversation. It's when I'm with people that I've known for a long time that my social awkwardness really thrives.
See, if it's somebody I know, then I grab them right by the cock, and then I start talking to them.
This is my weapon. I really like it.
I like to be intimate when we're having a conversation, as I'm cupping their balls, Holy shit, what the fuck? Bro, I never thought of it that way. I'm just kidding.
Whoa.
Wait.
If you're going to spoon me, you better do it right.
Yeah, taking public affection to a new level, bro.
That's funny. That's funny. It's just a bromance. What?
Yeah, I don't have an off button, and I don't have I have zero respect for the culture, society's culture, for dispositions in public and shit like that.
My input is always so not planned about what I'm about to say most of the time that it's really shocking even for me.
I was talking to the Czech lady today, and I went up to her. I bought a couple bags of marshmallows just on the way home from dinner, and a big jumbo marshmallow and the regular marshmallows. But I swear the regular marshmallows are not as big as they used to be. They're much smaller now. I swear.
Yeah.
I swear they just keep shrinking the size of them.
The same old hard candy you got at Halloween from old people. It feels like sometimes. Like, what's happened to marshmallows? It seems like their consistency is
getting
a lot
plump.
terrible.
Like, yeah, it's more solid. It's not as fluffy.
The ones I got from my kids were like rocks. I was like, is this even legit? It was still good, but they were, I don't know. I've given up on the marshmallow.
You guys
idea. It wasn't even that great.
You guys got Safeway? Safeway's over where you live?
It's called Kroger, or I think it's called Kroger, or what's the other one's called? Harps.
You guys don't have Safeways or Albertsons, though?
They do, but they're usually in more populated areas as an alternative.
So I'd go to one of those stores, and they're doing the Monopoly game. Do they do the Monopoly game at some of your stores? So the Monopoly game is like a little. It's kind of like the Monopoly game you would get like at fucking McDonald's.
Right.
But you get a certain number when you buy items with your receipt. You show your receipt, they cross off the number, and they give you some tokens, and you open them up, and you see if you get free hand sanitizer, or if you get a free Safeway brand bread, or did you get or did you get pieces or something, right? And so I go up to the lady after getting the marshmallows, and I go, here you go, here's my receipt for Safeway tokens. And she looks at it and she goes, oh, your receipt doesn't say you get any. And I go, oh, well, my mom never taught me how to read. And she's laughing her ass off. And then I go, and as I'm leaving, I see the store manager there, and I go, look, that lady over there refused to give me my tokens. And I show him the receipt, and he goes, you're not valid for any tokens. And I go, that's what she said, but I didn't know how to read it.
Don't oppress me.
So I made a scene, but sarcastically,
That's funny.
And I did that all with my mask off. Can you believe the balls on that guy? Jesus, he's gonna infect somebody.
Like bison.
He put his hand on that girl's shoulder while he was talking to her. Did you see that? Me too. Hashtag me too.
I will sue all of you in this room for the Me Too movement.
Okay, Bernie.
Wow, I can't believe that guy, and the guy in New York, what's his name? Cuomo.
Cuomo, whose brother is a newscaster.
Could you be any more arrogant? I mean, like, that guy.
Yeah.
Too big to fail never really hit him. It was like, I'm too arrogant to admit.
Oh, yeah. Him and his brother both. His brother is one of the leading liberal talking heads.
You can see the caricature of them in other things if you watch closely.
Yeah.
The tough guy.
Yep.
It's the tough guy. He's got the Italian history behind him,
Yep.
Every chick wants me. What can I say?
And if they don't, then I'm not useless. I'm not useful. I'm not a real man unless women want me kind of personality, honestly.
I measure my success in life with the number of women I get to sleep with in a single day.
Yeah, how many stupid people like me? Yes. I'm the king of the stupid people. Yay.
When you're choosing of women is basically the same as Bill Clinton's, there's no real, rules. It's whoever will let you.
Would you like a cigar?
I tell you,
smells good.
That thing has been in the butthole. Matter of fact.
Reminds me of
You know, when you get the extra crackers from your bunkmate in the prison cell and it smells straight like poop, it was suitcase.
Thank you very much for that.
They're real saltines.
It's one of those wet naps, but you got to use the wet nap as it's handed to you. Dang it! Can't save it for later because it's covered in shit.
You take what you can get there, Joey.
Now I'll tell you what, the food in my prison that I went to was bad. It was like literally less than a handful of Cheerios and milk that was thinner than water. How's it thinner than water? It's thin, it's as thin as blacker thinner. And
it's artificial, probably.
Water that tastes.
There's no nutrients. It's just literally cardboard.
Water that tasted like lead pipes. But here you go. Here's a flavor packet, so you can't taste the lead. Here you go. It's fruit punch or it's orange, and then here's a patty of meat. This patty of meat, we don't actually tell you what it's made out of. It could be made of anything. It's
actually human meat.
They call it
cannibal because we made it from anti-baby.
Whatever it is. I asked the other prisoners what it's called. They said it's called Scooby Snack. Okay, that tells me nothing. You're not giving me any good info here. You want my Scooby Snack? Have it.
Your vague descriptions of whatever the hell this is pissing me off.
Scooby Snacks. Fuck. Man,
the FDA says there's supposed to be a label.
Exactly. This is wrong. All I did was forget to renew my tabs. Fuck.
Hey, fun story. I was headed to Conway here locally. It's about an hour trip. And the ride I'm having to drive right now has this awesome ability to have my lights just go out randomly pretty frequently here. So a cop pulls me over, and it's a cop that pulled me over about 6 months ago and gave me a hard time. And he's like asking me. I didn't recognize him. He knew me immediately, but I didn't realize it until later on. He's starting to ask me questions, and I'm like, look, my ex-wife pulled some crap about a year ago, and I'm just trying to get to the store. I'm not trying to cause no trouble. He's like, well, your tail light's out. Do you have your driver's license or anything, your registration? I go to reach for it. I don't have my license. I don't have my insurance stuff in the car.
That's happened to me before. That's
nothing.
Happened.
But I do have my medical marijuana on me and my pipe. Oh boy, here we go. So he starts giving me trouble. I'm panicking at this point, having a full-on panic attack, anxiety-induced everything, like shaking almost, because I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to get in trouble again, and this is going to fuck up my court case. He looks at me, and after he searches through my car, he was like, is there anything else in here? And I was like, not that I'm aware of. He goes out there, looks through it, and he comes back to me. He's like, you can't have your vape pens attached to the actual base part of it when you're traveling in your car, and also you can't have an actual pipe in your car. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember you telling me that last time, but I thought maybe they changed that recently. He's like, no, I gave you a verbal warning last time. And at that point I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna go to jail. Oh my God. And he's like, I'm just going to give you a verbal warning. He accepted a digital ID of my medical marijuana card on my phone as my proof of who I was. He accepted it, and then I didn't have to go do anything else, even though I didn't have proof of insurance or anything.
Even here in Washington, where marijuana is legal, you can't have a pipe in your car. And I
wasn't smoking it at the time. It was just in the back or whatever.
I got pulled over going in the carpool lane, where you're actually allowed to go in the carpool lane at that time of night. And he just didn't like that I was in it. So he pulls me over, and I go, what did I do wrong? He's like, you're in the carpool lane. And I go, well, it's past 7 o'clock. I could be in the carpool lane. And I looked down, and I realized I had just loaded a pipe, and I hadn't started smoking it, and it's sitting right there in my cup holders. So I was like, how am I going to distract him and make sure he doesn't see this? So I just started fucking ripping him a new one. I was like, you fucking piece of shit. I'm making direct eye contact. You piece of shit. You can't fucking pull me over for this. And I fucking distracted him to high hell. He never looked down. All he had to do was look down to get me in trouble. And I just fucking kept locked on his eyes. You piece of shit. I hope your whole fucking family burns for pulling me over for this shit. And he never looked away, and he said, well, fuck off and have a good night, sir. and leaves. And I'm like, whoo, whoo. He takes off, and I light that bowl up, go drive down the road.
Dude, that's funny. What's another cool thing that found right after this happened? I had the court date for what happened with the cops in this area when they came to my house or whatever.
Yeah.
And I contact my lawyer before we get there, and she's like, they send us a blank disc, and the prosecuting attorney will not return my calls.
Blank?
Okay.
I guess I'm free.
It's been literally a year since that happened, and they have presented us no proof of what they're claiming and won't return our calls. So the court called the prosecuting attorney. They still didn't call us back. We get there, and they're like, oh, well, all we have is a recording of once he's in the car being transported. So they came to my house, and they don't have any proof of what occurred when they pulled me out and tased me and all that other crap.
Wow.
Yeah, okay, here's this story. Yeah. About a week after they roughed me up the first time, they came back to my property, knocked on my door while I was having seizures, made me come to the door. I get there, and they rip me out of my house onto concrete from 3 steps up, and so I'm back plant onto this concrete. And then they straight up, like point blank range, tased me twice.
Fuck.
And they
never fun.
I blacked out for a minute, but I came to and I didn't feel any pain really, but I got some gnarly scars from where the little things connected to my body.
You didn't get any bear spray, did you?
No, that was sprayed in my eyes when I called the big 300-pounder.
I got bear spray for jumping the fence into a park that's open all night long, and I got tased for listening to music on an iPhone or iPod before iPods were known, and they had the white earphones in, and the guy didn't see. I guess white earphones didn't even really exist before the iPod came out. Everything was black cables.
It was an iPod feature, I think.
It was the very first iPod. It had the FireWire port on it on the top.
I remember it. And I had that blue screen, red lettering.
Yeah, and it actually clicked. The button actually clicked. Click, 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 click. Yeah, and
I had that one.
So I'm walking and I'm singing "Spirit in the Sky" in front of the DMV, waiting for my number to get called. And someone had reported me, and the cop's like, "Sir, turn around, sir, listen to me, sir." All of a sudden I'm on my knee. I didn't hear this shit. All of a sudden I'm on my knees. Boom, and he's like, and I pull my headphones off, like, what the fuck? And I'm getting tased. I'm like, He goes, "You could lean against the wall there." He's like, "I'm sorry about that, but you weren't responding." I'm like, "Because I had my fucking headphones on." You know, like, tap my shoulder, or, you know, wave your hand in front of me, or come around me. Did you see a weapon? No. What the fuck did you tase me for? Was I running? Was I confrontational? I didn't even respond.
That's what I said to the cop that roughed me up. I was like, dude, my hands were on the back of my head. I was laying face down, and you still managed to crush my voice box and scar me with your muzzle on your gun on my forehead, you know, where you put to my head pushing down, saying, stay down, you know, because, like, they called SWAT and everybody that day when that went down.
I did do one thing that got me a gun pointed at me by the cops one time. I was downtown in Chelan. I had like 2 beers. So barely even drank over the past 2 hours. I had 2 beers. I could barely put beers back, right? I've had like one and a quarter beer.
I love beer. This tastes terrible.
Oh, exactly. Over the last hour and a half we've been talking, I had barely even had 1 1/4 beer. And that's like as fast as I can drink it, right? So I'm drinking these beers. I'm sitting back and I go back out. And I'm like, where the fuck's my car? I forgot that I moved it around the corner.
Oh, man.
And I'm like looking for my car. I'm like, oh man, my car's stolen. I tell my dad it's stolen. And then I start walking around looking, seeing if maybe they dumped it somewhere close or whatever. And I see my car. I'm like, oh yeah, I fucking parked it there. I didn't think about to call and go, hey, my car's fine. And I go driving home. And they pull me over. And they pull the guns out. I'm like, you're in a stolen vehicle. I'm like, no, I'm the guy who reported it. I'm sorry.
Oh, that would suck.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But they were like, okay, it shows like you were the guy on the vehicle, and it shows that you're fine. Okay, great, thank you.
Oh, man.
Embarrassing, but at least I didn't, at least I'm still alive. If I was black, I might have been dead already, so you never know. I mean, and that's not... I don't mean that in a bad way. It just could have been my shitty luck that day if I was black guy in a small town could have been the worst day for me. And luckily,
I don't think that I've ever been segregated in groups with people. Black people like me and treat me just as much a part of their group as any of the white versions of whatever. Usually, white people treat me pretty shitty.
Oh yeah, I feel like I get it better from.
I feel like I would
from random stranger of color versus random stranger of same color. I tend to get better actually interactions with random stranger of color, of any ethnicity.
Because my family ancestry lines is basically all sharecroppers, so we were just poor, basically land workers too with them back then. We picked all over. My family in Walla Walla, Washington, still has an apple orchard up there. I think the Nixons. Somewhere out there.
Dude, heck yeah, let's go. Let's have an apple war.
They used to have a marina there at Walla Walla Marina. It was Nixon Marina. I don't know if it's still open because my Uncle Paul died, but...
well, that's cool.
My family roots are out there. The only family member from the Nixons that came here was my dad's father, and it was because of the seasonal sharecropping work that they were doing.
Well, shit, just move back here, bro. Oh, yeah, you're a kid. Dang it.
No, man, back then, man, my dad's telling me about his youth, and they didn't have, real legit floors or TP back in the day. They had to use whatever they could find, and
their hands they had to use their hand.
Outhouse was not, an unheard of thing still.
Right.
And so
I shit in my yard. The dogs do it. I do it. I figure it's fine.
Neighbors from a family where
neighbors always looking out his window going, what is he doing? What is he doing? And I'm like, whatever. Live like the dogs, Take a shit in your own yard.
When in Rome. I mean, come on.
No, I kid. I digress. I kid. Shit, Chris, you got me on brain lock. What the fuck was that?
That, and I'm trying to watch my volumes while having earphones in at a community that's very well close location. Like all the neighbors' houses and buildings around me are probably just entertained by whatever's going on with my mannerisms. I look like I'm teaching a class, but no one's out here.
No, but you're not squatting out in the middle of the yard, though, so you're probably all right.
Well, no. I drop a deuce. Pop a deuce. There's a really random story from my youth about this pastor's daughter moved in. And this is relating to what we were just saying.
Yeah.
They started a rumor saying that I had broke into the church and pooped on her chest on the pulpit of a church that I went to most of my life, okay?
Well, why did she let you? She must have liked it.
Okay. Well, there was sexual interaction, don't get me wrong, with the preacher's kid, but there was not that incident. And it was like, when you have a reputation in a town that's got 54 people total pop,
yeah,
you kind of it's tough to break the mold. So like,
oh, I've heard that from plenty. Yeah,
it's you've got this kid that knows the Bible like the back of his hand, so you can't teach him anything when he gets here, and he's a know-it-all.
Yep.
And it was it's like being the black sheep all the time in whatever situation here, because no one listened to rock music even. They all listened to country kissing 95.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, oh my God, if it's not Tracy Atkins or Montgomery or whoever that was back in the 96, boy, if it wasn't on CMT, it wouldn't been played.
Don't break my heart, my achy breaky heart.
You don't know music, and you've not fully lived until you've listened to the entire discography of Garth Brooks.
Oh yeah,
or Brooks and Dunn.
He's got one good song,
Jackson.
but he made it as a different name.
Who? Chris Gaines?
Yeah, he's got one good song, and he made it as a different name.
Yeah, that alternate persona didn't sell well, so he flipped back real quick. He had a killer come over, didn't he? Chris
Okay,
Gaines.
this is funny. This is what my wife just typed in the. This is what my wife just typed in the chat. She said, "We're leaving the store, and Luella darts out into the parking lot, and I yell at her, to come back to the curb, and I'm thinking something bad happened, right? And I ask her what we're supposed to do when we get to a street or a parking lot, and she says, "We run." No, that's not right.
Well, she was sure of it, so I like her. I like her insistence. We run. That's what we do.
At least that's what she does. That's funny.
Oh man. Oh, I had my kid was cracking me up these past few weeks. She's got such a storyteller's kind of personality. She's very into her emotions when she's telling things, so it's funny to watch me reanimated in a female midget form.
How old is she now? 6?
She's 4, almost 5. She's about to be 5, but she's Daddy, I want to be whatever you are when I get older. All that good stuff. And she's real sentimental. Like, if you throw away something that she did or made, it's gonna flip her the fuck out.
So you have family from this area,
Washington. Yes.
My landlord's last name is Nixon.
They're probably related, because that's the only area that I actually do have family
Her
lineage.
name is...
I don't have any here.
Her name is Kim Nixon.
I know that name.
And she's like 50.
Yeah, it might be one of my dad's cousins. I'm not sure.
Now we got to research this and find out, because if so, I got to tell her, hey, I make music with somebody you're related to.
Yeah, just mention the fisherman Nixon's from Arkansas, and I'm sure they'll...
Yeah, I'll have to ask her, too.
I didn't know that we had all of this history out there. Apparently, my grandfather and his family had like 9 children, right? That's awesome, because I guess there wasn't much to do but have sex and farm back then, but... they were super poor, so there was no work in the area at the time. My grandfather was very insistent that he go get some work, and he walked like 5 miles to this guy's house with no real idea of what he was doing. And he walks up this driveway, and he sees this guy that owns the farm, and he walks up to him and he asks him for the work, and the guy goes, "No, I don't have any to offer right now." And grandfather started walking back down the road. This is a true story. He was just a poor guy that walked up to a farmer and asked for work, and he sent him on his way. And as he's walking back down through there, he said, "Where'd you come from?" And he told him where, and he was like, "That's like 5 miles away. You walked 5 miles to ask me one question?" And grandfather's like, "Yeah, but, And so the guy gets in his little Ford Model T or whatever he had and picked him up and drives it into the driveway and takes him home. And he's like, "Come back tomorrow and I'll give you a job." And that's how they started their financial income in that area.
Well, if someone's gonna walk 5 miles for a job, they're gonna work for a job too.
That's what the guy said to him.
Yeah.
It's like, if you have the willpower or determination to do that, something like that, then you're a good employee. You will be. And
my wife just realized something. Kim Nixon is a married name. It would be John Nixon.
John. Now that's There was 5 brothers or something. There was Paul. I'm pretty sure John was one of them, but they were older. They were in their 90s. This is a new generation here. I think that wouldn't be like their children, possibly.
Yeah. All the Nixons are related because they interbreed, right?
Yes, we just we genetically modified Richard, and then we sent out the clones. And we're the sorry bastards that you get.
It's too funny. I'm kidding.
It's funny. Yep. I had at the dispensary the other day when I went in there to re-up or whatever. Are you there? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm here.
I took them out because it hurt my ear. Is he there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I'm gonna plug this back in. Hold on.
Yep. So one thing I noticed is you do covers, and you do them in your own way.
Yeah, I figured that since every note's been played and every word's been said, at least come up with a new way of presenting the material.
Right.
And that's kind of the way, influences or things that my dad was into or things that was part of my life. I tried to keep some variation of that original idea in it, but I try to add anything new I can. Accidents are accepted.
You did keep I'm listening to this Smashing Pumpkins Stand Inside Your Love. You did keep it in the same octave, though. You didn't bring it way down here.
I do change a lot of that. Yeah, I'll move up and down on the octaves, or I'll change the key it's in, and I'll change the tempos up, and then I'll do whatever parts live takes that I add in, or whatever. And
yeah,
it's really a painful process to do by yourself, but I feel like when I work with a lot of people, I mean, not you, but there's been times where presenting something that I thought was good was not well accepted, and that was I don't know, the criticism wasn't well worded.
You mean
like point where,
like haters level?
Yeah, it was like, instead of constructive, it was just completely
dehumanizing.
I just lost the appeal entirely. So
yeah,
it's
weird because I personally don't like my voice. And I'll make instrumental after instrumental after instrumental, and I'll get like 2, 3, 4 comments per instrumental, and then I'll do like a cover song where I sing, and I'm like, this really sounds like shit, but I'm gonna publish it just for fun. And people are like 20 comments in. I'm like, what the fuck? They like this? I don't like it, but people like it, I guess. Okay.
I don't understand how the marketing works, because the things that I think are amazing or will be able to be accepted, usually they miss their mark. They'll be cool in a couple months when I forget that I've done it.
Right, when you go re-listen after you've almost forgotten, you're like, oh, I did that?
Yeah, that happens a lot, especially on here when you've got like 6,000 plus recordings that you have over the years, and you've worked bits and pieces and forgot you even had the fork or whatever.
Yep.
And then you hear your original thing that you're working on. Like I did this today. I was listening to something me and Vinny had done, that Islands in the Stream that we made, that was like, it sounds like the Rolling Stones are performing the Kenny Rogers Dolly Parton song.
Yeah.
And it, when I sang it back then, it was just live take all the way through, and it flowed out, but it had human error. And today, when I was trying to kind of re-gauge it, I overthought it. So I think with music, it's true that the first take, or the natural flowing version that you give in the studio, if you catch it, without some technical error, is probably going to be the best take.
Yeah, it's true. It usually has the right level of energy and spontaneity to it, that it has more life to it,
fakely, your energies are, when I deliver a word or a phrase or something, and the energy hits, my goosebumps kick in and all that stuff.
Did you see the thing
I have to keep repeating
I posted today?
Like terrible.
Did you see the thing I posted today? It was how to do Def Leppard vocals. And the guy goes, so Def Leppard vocals, he goes, hey man, drop a bomb. He's like, don't sing it like this. Hey man, drop a bomb. Otherwise you're gonna be sounding like an Essex song, So you gotta get real breathy, and you overpronounce. And he's like, hey man, drop a bomb. Girl's a good one. Oh yeah. And then he goes, now take it. You take that, and you take that same line, not a harmony, and you record it 20 times. I'm like, what? 20 times?
That was that thing we mentioned yesterday.
And then he goes lower. Hey man, drop a bomb. Do it real breathy.
And 12 steps
and he's
down,
like,
and you go.
He's like, by the time he's done 60 takes just for a background vocal. I'm like, what? And then he's like, then he goes, then you got to go like this. Hey man, and then there's a second line that goes after the hey man, hey, drop a bomb. And then he does 60 takes of that.
Where he's just basically emphasizing every other word.
Yeah, and he's got 120 takes just for the background vocals. Oh my God.
Insane.
Are you kidding me? Now, they do sound great. And it did sound like Def Leppard. It was really cool. But, like, dude, is that you ever going to make that sound that good live? No. It's never going to sound like that live.
I only see there's a lot of people that have to use different voice fixings and stuff. The only thing I've ever really liked putting on is a little bit of doubling to give you that
doubling,
like you have that second voice already.
The things I don't mind are a little bit of doubling, a little bit of phaser or chorus or flange, just a touch, a very low.
I never do
a little bit of reverb.
I'll do the reverb and I'll do a doubling, and that's and do some EQing, but I don't use auto tune and I don't use.
Are you aware of how you and I got introduced?
Through your wife, wasn't it?
Yeah. My wife says right here.
She had.
I think we were introduced.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, we were introduced when Timothy Lee Nixon sang on one of my songs, one of her very first tracks, and we were like, whoa, he has a cool voice. And we started interacting, and that was where I went.
I think I even remember what your picture was. It was like a house or something way back then. I can't remember. It was like whatever your building was behind you. I can't remember. She had like a field, I guess, on that one song. I can't remember.
It might have been my parents' Chelan house that I used first.
That might have been it.
Yeah.
It looked like it had an upper story, maybe.
Yeah, 2-story house with like a deck and a garage.
And I hadn't been using, I guess, FanLab that long when I started doing that.
You're like a half a year ahead of me or something.
I thought, well, this is a cool idea. These people present this material. I give them whatever thing I can produce into it, and it's going to take off. But really, it's set up. That does happen, but more times than not, it's just people competing or stealing a lot of genuine idea giving, and that can sometimes be upsetting, but I don't really even take it into consideration anymore.
And then my wife says, I featured you back on Idiot Blog 46.
Nice.
It's 468. That's 422 blogs ago. Wow.
I think right before that I had told you that this idea was genius and that you should continue doing it because your voice made for it.
Thank you so much for the kind
I'm at
words.
B98.5. Call us at 12 o'clock.
You are listening to the Idiot Blog, Idiot Chat with Timothy Lee Nixon.
This is how I talk all the time. My wife loves it. No, I think that probably irritates whoever I'm with more than anything is the fact that I'm always making different random noises with whatever, because music without the music and all you're getting to hear is this voice give whatever.
I got a random idea while we're talking. I think I'm going to try. I think I'm going to try this idea. It's a really random idea, but I think next time I'm getting a BJ, I'm going to be like this: more tongue, less tongue, more teeth. Less teeth. More lips. Less lips. Just go back and forth and just see how many directives until she gives up. I don't know why, but I just want to try it.
It was like,
hey, I got a Kinder Egg.
Drunk in the studio getting
my daughter brought me a Kinder Egg. Oh no, she's not letting me have it. She thinks it's hers. Is that your Kinder Egg?
Yeah, I got it at the store.
Oh, okay. You got it at the store. Have fun. Is that for me? It's for you. Oh, I want the toy. Can I have the toy?
No.
No, she said.
Love it. I love it.
Oh, my wife says, oh, I thought you only had one beer left. No, I only had one cold beer left.
One cerveza.
Well, all right. I think that was a good chat, dude.
I'm sorry I didn't get more into whatever. I've been having to keep other things in my mind, like the volume in my area and these people's house that I'm at. We got to talk
about two things that were really important that we needed to talk about: living forever and aliens.
I thought you were about to say vaginas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, aliens. Yeah. Aliens. Yes, exactly what I was thinking.
Little gray guys.
All the bare essentials, Lloyd, the beer and the newspapers.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Sweet.
I believe in the big man, and I think that the world it will eventually come to its senses, but it will take great efforts and no time soon.
It's definitely something people, the masses are trying to keep out of their conscience. To be honest, they're trying to keep it out of their conscience.
They want you to think that you have to go somewhere or do some event to achieve your closeness with the creator thing.
How can you be part of cancel culture if you love your neighbor? You really can't. And they would. How can you be involved in cancel culture if you love your neighbor, dude? You can't do it.
I'm on a radio interview. Sorry, man. They're inside. One of their neighbors came walking by.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, that threw me off because it was pitch dark out here, and he just came walking up out of nowhere. But yeah. If there was a Depends diaper, I would have pooped it.
Yow!
I'm pretty sure he has ninja skills.
All of a sudden,
he just appeared out of a tree.
Yeah, and his hands on your shoulder, and he's talking softly. Whoa, what happened? Lucky I didn't scream like a girl.
It's like when a child goes to the athletic center for the first time and has to watch an old man get dressed for sports. It's scarring. You don't really know how to facially express it.
Struggling with the pants alone.
Did his ball touch his feet?
I had a friend of mine, he's no longer with us. He died in a paragliding accident. He used to always do this in the locker room. He would lift up his boxer shorts and show just a little bit of ball, but he would wrinkle it up and put it on his leg. He goes, "Do I got gum stuck to my leg?"
Oh my God, that's just so
but we'd always look. I'm like, "Oh, dude, gross."
That's too much, dude. We need to talk more often. It's been too long since the last time we spoke.
Yeah, ditto.
Today and yesterday, but
yep.
I'll have a more guided and thought out thing next time rather than I didn't know if I was going to hear from you today.
Here's the thing. Let me tell you what's going to happen is, and we're on 468 on Idiot Blog 500. I start a new format where the screen is going to have my phone number and people can literally call in while I'm doing the blog.
Would be the interaction. That's really what I want. I want to know what other people want to discuss, because I don't have any idea what interests the masses anymore. It seems like it could be anything these days.
Yep. So that's going to be a format coming up soon. I'm working into it, and therefore I won't feel so compelled to try and get the idiot chat to that level where it's like video and I have to get a new computer.
Yeah. I like, voice recording and hearing the sincerity of a voice can sometimes be more real for the intake of it, because when you're getting too much intake when you get some of the video content on things, I think. But I like it either way. Yeah,
this will be cool because this will be like this is something that, even though there is a video on it, if you were to like put the blog on and go walk around while it's on your TV and not really pay attention to the video, you can literally treat it like a radio broadcast. It could be 30s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, doesn't matter. It's a style that has existed in culture for a long time. It's tried and true. It's tried and true,
Like Trojans.
Yeah.
That are at least, not within their expiration date, trust me on that.
I pushed the expiration date and I have a son.
I did too, and then it looked like a sprinkler. Okay, I went too far. I'm gonna pull it. Come on, man, Joe Biden, come on.
How long is he gonna last?
Hair on my legs.
How long is that guy gonna last? You think you think Joe Biden's gonna last over a year?
Depends on how well they can get the face swap application.
Oh yeah, face swap. You think Kamala's gonna do the face swap?
I think that the Associated Press is so intertwined with that and colluding with them so thickly that there's no way we'll be able to be aware of what they're doing, because they are keeping his little speeches.
The president will be unassassinatable because of
he can't be held accountable really, because he's such a case, he's really just needs his diaper and to go to bed.
Yeah, dude. I'm totally with you on that.
Statistically, he can't get any of the numbers right. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know who his generals are or what building they work in, the Pentagon, or who God is. The thing.
Yeah. The thing. You know what it says. Yeah.
I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Jesus wept or something.
No, I don't know the thing. I'm not privy to your knowledge, and that's why we have you. You're supposed to disseminate. You're the big guy. I'm glad we have
such a well-educated man running the place. Who do we need in charge of this? Call Hunter. He's a crackhead. He'll do it.
I just can't get past the fact that he's ashamed of being bald. I'm just still stuck on that. He's
ashamed of it. Yeah, he does have a longer hairline.
If you look at pictures of him in the 1970s, he's fully bald. And now he's got hair again. And it's bad looking hair, and it's frizzy, and it's like, it's transplant. It's like, dude.
Man, his eyes are what gives him away from back a few years ago when he was still cognitively working.
Yes.
He is struggling so hard even to know what's going on while being directed that it's just sad to watch.
They used to give Hitler meth to keep him going, and they're probably doing basically the same thing to this guy. They might have a prescription,
got memory loss,
but
he's got verbal issues. He's got motor issues. He doesn't even know where to exit the stage. He's the freaking president.
He's actually racist, and the more he slips, the more that slips out.
Oh, I don't even.
That's the worst part.
That can be tolerated.
That's the worst part. Is
he's blatantly racist. Do you know what he said about Obama when he heard his story? He was like, "You can't make this stuff up, man. He's black, he's educated, he's well-spoken, he smells nice. He's a storybook." He said that was a quote.
Yeah, I know, and that's not...
Like, what do you mean he's a storybook? Because he's well-educated.
You mean he's like 90% of black people I know? Oh, wow. So, are you saying that...
What are you saying, dude?
What are you saying?
That's the most racist shit I've ever heard in my life.
You mean he has a radio voice? That's all you mean?
Yeah. Listen, we had a meeting with the fellas in our streets the other night, and we decided, the guy smells good, he can talk well, we're going to let him in.
Yeah, he called that one guy fat. He's like the worst kind of guy. He's like a bully from school that got to be the president.
Any inconsistencies he could pick apart for a person's...
And then they acted like Trump was a bully, but he was just firing shots back. He was like in the middle of a snowball fight, throwing one snowball, precisely hitting the person right in the face and going, "I told you I'd hit him right in the face. I did. I hit him right in the face." They're embarrassed about it. It's cold. They don't like the cold. And
did you see the Pepe Le Pew meme I posted about?
No.
If unwanted hugs and sniffs and kisses was all it took to be considered rape, then why are it going to be canceled? I mean, like, for real,
be famous.
He's got like a whole discography of women going and shaking him off while he sniffs them and touches them. And
and young ones too.
And it's very clear with their facial expressions.
Oh my God.
These are unwanted, and it's awkward, and they're uncomfortable, and he just like keeps doing it.
Yep.
Grab a whole handful there and sniff it.
Now, that being said, I think this is something you'll agree on. If he uniformly descheduled marijuana and made it a non-illegal drug, I'd love him forever. Don't even care about all this other stuff. I'd be like, oh, he was a great president. He made marijuana legal. The thing is, he won't, but if he did,
Think about his accomplishments so far. He has
undone
increased
stuff.
Taxes coming up.
Oh, yeah.
He has removed our security at our borders. He has lied about what he would do.
Have you heard the numbers on that? While Trump was in office, what was normally 2,000 to 3,000 people per week coming across the border?
729% increase.
It went down to 600 to 700. Now it's at 4,000 to 5,000 per week.
That's crazy.
5,000 times 52 times 4. Let's just do that. 5,000 times 52 times 4. He's going to let in 1 million illegal immigrants in the time he's in office. At the rate
into a country that has hundreds of thousands of people that just lost their guaranteed jobs for the next decade.
He's got 1 million new voters.
Well, just because you can manipulate machinery, listen, I could get 1 million votes if you let me in on the software. Just give me a minute.
Yep.
Give me a USB drive and a little bit of no, and I'll get it done. I mean, these people are like claiming these security measures or whatever.
It's all encrypted.
It takes one good hacker and one access to the thing. As long as they have it on a private server, they can do it.
If you can't tell what your wife, who you live with every day, is typing on WhatsApp or the Kick app and is cheating on you, then how are you going to undo a rigged election that uses the same level of encryption? You're not. It's rigged.
Well,
You can't stop it. You can't if you can't stop your wife from cheating on you. Which I'm not saying my wife does that. I'm just saying there's guys out there who have a wife who's cheating on them and she's using the apps that have encryptions and there's no way to get into them. If she can get away with it and she's there every day and only missing for an hour a day and still going on, how are you gonna fucking catch these conglomerates cheating the system? You're never gonna catch them. You got to create a new system that's transparent. So until that's there, there's no way to know for sure, but there's definitely no way to surely know it hasn't happened.
Well, let's put it this way. A man who never left his basement, did no campaigning, has no ethics or really code of any kind, and really is just a crappy person.
Have you
managed to pull more votes than anyone in history?
Have you seen the algorithms on his videos and his public speeching? So Trump would public speech. Trump would do something public, and he would have 20,000 likes and 2,000 not likes. Because a significant people
more not likes than likes on the public.
Yes,
thing. I noticed
there's a significant number of people who are just barely willing to watch Trump, even though they hate him, and leave a dislike and watch what he says and leave a dislike and comment negative. And 1 out of 10 comments is Trump sucks, and the other 10 are we love you, Trump, mega forever, right? And that's Trump for 4 years.
What is the real issue with him? What is their issue against him? What part of him? I mean, I know he's like
I can tell you
100.
I can tell you 100% what it is. He is a guy who's A, rich, B, never ever ever going to be picking cherry when everyone else is picking cherry, and they're telling him the president's got to pick cherry. He's going to fucking pick root beer. He's a defiant person. He's unbuyable. You can't buy him. So the first thing is he can't be bought. The second thing is you could buy all the people around him, but you can't guarantee that the people around him being bought is going to mean that he's going to take the hook and do what they say. Second,
he is his own drummer.
He's his own person. He's his own person. It has nothing to do with what he says. It's all to do with one thing. They can't.
I think that's what this crusade is about. The individual. They just want to snuff out individualism.
Yeah. And they call it individualism.
Creative thought of the human self-identity. They're wanting to make it a thing that they give you rather than what you have. You know.
Yep. What you earn is no longer
everything
valid.
That I enjoy.
We all get the same.
I appreciate that we do in this life is based around that. If you take that away, you might as well remove my soul.
There's only been one other president ever that's not related to the same family. Even Barack Obama's.
Yeah, they all trace back to those ancient French.
And there's only two ever.
Skulls and shit.
The guy from Denmark, Martin Van Buren, and he's the guy that made it so.
8th president or 15th or something.
Yeah, and he's the guy that made it so you can't be the president if you're not from our country. And Trump. Those are the two people in history that are not related to the same family, that are not skulls and crossbones, not part of the same mantra, not controllable.
392 or whatever. Is that what their number is?
All I know is this: every single president except for Trump and Martin Van Buren, they had something dirty on them, and they could make them do whatever they wanted.
That is the biggest thing that's in politics. That's why I can't stand it.
And they didn't have it on Trump, and they tried so hard, and they tried twice to impeach him, and they never had anything. They tried so hard.
I want to know what the Democrats have on Mitch McConnell, because that dude turned up.
They got to have something.
Turtle on his back, dude.
No, but I can tell you what they have on that. He's been caught with cocaine a couple times.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, cocaine. Cocaine use, probably hookers
Mitch
too.
McConnell doesn't
he might look old now, but 20 years ago he wasn't old, and 30 years ago he was doing cocaine with hookers, and that was the 80s, and he's forever.
Was president. Hey, come on now.
Yeah, he's just another puppet like that. Exactly.
I mean, like, seriously, after this January stuff happened, he just stood up and decided that he was going to take ranks with the opposite team. They
pressed him. They said, if you don't, we will. And he said, okay, yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and this is just me and you speaking, of course, and everyone listening, but it feels like it was a coup literally happened.
It did.
It feels like it was a soft. It wasn't like a murderous type event, but they had so much invested against this happening that they took measures, every measure possible.
He was going to stay there, and they drove him out. They drove him out with a pitchfork. He was going to stay there, and he was going to prove that it was faked. And they drove him out with a pitchfork. And they basically said, you're going to die or you're going to go.
Well, that's exactly what they do. They eventually break it down this simple. Here, we have enough people that will
January 6th would have become January 7th, would have become January 8th, January 9th, January 10th, and one of those days they were going to find Trump and they were going to kill him, and they were like, look, you killed your own guy. You let one guy in. You guys killed your own guy. And it was all a bunch of them dressed up like us. And that was about to happen. And instead, he just said, nah, I'll walk away. And then once he walked away, he was like, surprise, surprise, I'm running in 2024. They're like, no, impeach him. He can't do it. Don't let him do it. Don't let him do it in 2024. And he got away with that. And now they're really afraid that he's going to come back in 2024. Don't be surprised if Trump dies in the next 4 years.
That could be a prophetic thing.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know. I don't think that at his core he really he may have converted fully, but prior to his presidency, he had really loose religious beliefs and stuff. And he said once in an interview, I heard Trump say,
"Yeah,
I don't ever pray," and they were like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "I've never felt like I needed to."
Maybe he just talks to God and doesn't know it's praying.
Maybe his idea of what that terminology is just different, but it blew my mind to think that a person never felt like they needed to kind of air their grievances or discuss anything into
Hey man, I got an uncle. He's never sworn. He's never stolen anything. He's never done anything that you could consider wrongdoing. You think that he sits around praying for himself? He doesn't do anything wrong. If you ask him if he prayed, he may not have prayed because he may have felt like I can't change God's plan.
Yeah, but also there are, causes and effects. There is a decision that's made somewhere for everything to fall where it lies, I think.
And don't get me wrong, the guy could just be a patsy, and he was just in there, and he was just acting one way because it was good for the drama and all that, and he thought it'd get him reelected, and really he is just in bed with the Clintons. Who knows? To be honest,
I don't think that's what it is. I think they hate each other too much, but I do think that the NSA is aware of the deeper issue because I did heating and air with my dad for a few years a while back, and Homeland Security people that worked for the NSA and whatnot were the owners of this particular home, and he showed me the paperwork he had been given that week where it had different directives for him to go out and interview anyone with business connections to the Clintons, anything tying them to anything, because he was basically going to bring anything they could at him. And this was right before the elections with her, because she was still in it, and then the FBI gave her that, whatever the fuck you want to call it, pass when she committed treason. It's insane to know that we have that kind of divide within our own system.
Then why didn't he let Edward Snowden come back, and why didn't he give him a presidential pardon?
I think that Eric Snowden's issues are...
They just don't want a repeat of that? They just don't want that to happen again?
They're just trying to keep him as far away as possible because he has more that he could give than he was given.
Right.
I think. I think that he just has too many security compromises that he could, give out. At this point, if you listen to him speak, he's an American citizen that literally did what he thought was right as far as releasing that information.
Yeah, because they were lying. They were deceiving.
As an American that needed to know that information, I'm glad that he did it for the fact that you can't let this kind of... these systems exist so these things don't happen.
Yeah. What about Julian Assange, who released the emails that got Trump basically elected?
He's a weirder dude.
Why didn't he get? Why didn't he?
I don't know his ethics.
Why didn't he give him a pass?
I think that his issues is that Julian Assange didn't do enough for those systematic powers. Just like
he was too much of a just like I'll expose anybody kind of guy.
He was just trying to make whatever he could out of whatever he had. I think, and he was
too much.
It was different with Snowden. There was a
one's a whistleblower and one's kind of like a businessman.
One had ethics and the other one's just trying to use whatever he can to make money.
Yeah.
One was like, hey, this really disturbed me, and as a person of capable of distinguishing what's right and wrong, I felt like this was an incredible wrongdoing for anyone, to be able to. These things are still going on, they still basically just spy on us at will, and we can't ever change it because it exists. And if people that get that kind of control and that kind of information, once they finally have it, it's like a drug. They won't give it up.
Oh yeah, the people that would work so hard every day of their life to have that power, once they get it.
Oh man, it's their God, if you want to call it that. Their ability to be able to know and see everything is their final goal. I would say they need to have that information because they're just obsessed.
Empowers them. It gives them money. It gives them all these
blackmail, information, everything that comes along with it. It's just like this. I have something over you to make you do something, and it's terrible. But there's good news. They hadn't canceled the Twinkie yet. And
they already canceled the Twinkie. I'm sorry, I'm from Washington. That's where Hostess is originally from. And I used to eat Hostess every day.
Yeah, me too.
And then Hostess was gone, and I did not forget what Hostess tasted like. And Hostess came back, and I'm like, this is somewhere between Hostess and...
They flattened its flavor.
It's kind of like between Hostess and the generic shit you get from the fucking the bullshit companies, the dollar version.
It's like getting Bill Gates meat. It's just not real.
Yeah. Hey, Bill Gates owns like 90% of the farms.
A lot of Arkansas.
In the United States right now.
He bought a shitload of land here in Arkansas. That was his last purchase.
He also owns like 80% of the farms across the rest of the whole rest of the globe.
Have you done the extended studies into what he's doing all this for? It's the most bizarre, crazy, psychopathic thing I've ever listened to. Bill Gates has an issue, dude, and I don't know what it is, megalomania, God mentality type thing, but he thinks that since he has the financial ability to set him in the right places for whatever thing he needs to do, that he's got this God complex. Seriously,
you know why he's pro green? I'll tell you why. Because he owns the upcoming
all the companies.
No, he owns the upcoming 5th version of nuclear power, which in the next 10 or 12 years, this style of traveling wave reactor nuclear plants, which can be small, there could be one per home, or there could be a big base unit that powers most homes, or you could even have it powering your house out in the woods in Alaska.
Like a fuel cell type thing?
It's like think of a nuclear reactor that doesn't require cooling, and if it gets catastrophic, it just fizzles out instead of exploding and causing pollution. And then it doesn't use the really, really horrible 1 out of 10 molecule version of plutonium. It uses that 9 out of 10 molecules that's been waste, that's piling up everywhere where they mine from. It uses the waste plutonium, and it has an electronic thing that moves these little bolts of plutonium around and creates a different way of using nuclear energy. So if he gets energy to cost more and more and more and more and more by pushing the green and gets us more desperate, then eventually we'll have to install what he has to get back to normal, and we'll all be paying him, and he'll run power, he'll run food, he'll basically be the money. Without owning the money, he'll be the money of everything. He'll be the food, the power, and disease control.
I know a few things in this life. One, Bill Gates is the ultimate douchebag.
Dude, for sure.
2, I'm pretty sure he's into kids. If you have been keeping up with things that have happened at his personal home. Yeah, a huge pedophilia thing happened with his closest employee.
I'm sure.
Oddly enough,
I'm
for
sure.
And years, this guy worked there using his computer supposedly without his awareness. Make these things.
Right. The guy, the leader of technology,
his
let
biggest
somebody
personal
else.
private land. Yeah.
Give me a break.
And his closest employee. Yeah. Oh, he didn't know anything about it, but he rode on Epstein's plane a few times. After he had been charged with pedophilia.
Yeah, trying to clean up.
No, starting actual fundraising with the guy. He made financial propositions and business.
Whatever it is he said he was doing, he was just cleaning up his own ass. He was just wiping his own ass after the fact. He's like, oh, my ass is still shitty, and this guy's getting in trouble. I better go wipe him.
Whoever dude was helping get blackmail for, he had something on him. Bill, too, and most of the people that are in charge, that's what's disturbing, is these people have a really dark history, and they're really good at putting on a smile and wearing a suit.
Yep. Now we're gonna let everybody. We're gonna let everybody just sit on this vibe. I think this is where we got to end the show, because this will keep everybody on a vibe where they're like thinking and pondering, and it'll give them a little inspiration for some more music.
Yeah, cool.
All right, dude. Good talking to you. We'll do it again soon, I'm sure. Yeah. Have a good night.
Don't go into the loud.
Okay. Have a good night, dude.
Bye.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. That was a solid 2 hours of chatting with Timothy. Don't mean to cut it, but we can't do this forever. I mean, of course, you could probably do it 8 hours, but then it would be like 4 in the morning, and I'd be really tired. But it does peak my energy up. It's always a blast talking to him. It's always a blast interviewing anybody. And I just want to let you guys know, hey, if you are interested in being interviewed on the blog, go ahead and reach out to me at Idiot Burns, and let me know, and we'll make it happen, because it's not like I'm all booked up or something. And I just do this in a laid-back kind of way. You've seen the interviews and how they go. So if it's something you're interested in, just drop a line and we'll get it going. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. That is Idiot Blog 468. And I'll catch you guys on the flip side. See you later, dudes. Don't forget.